and the annotations on screen.
And we are back from break, ready to talk about rating. But it's not really necessarily even about rating. And I think that when we were framing the question, the issue, that Smedley made his comment, and he was talking specifically about rating in general. Like this, basically, and I'll link it here in a second. His comment was along the lines of the WoW MMO is dead. Nobody has hours to sit around doing raids. But what I think he really meant.
Not quite.
You got the actual.
He didn't say nobody. He said that the gaming population is aging, and therefore, game time is changing.
I'm getting older, and I have more time for gaming than I ever had before. So let me grab that link and share it with everybody here real quick so that you can get on the same page. Oh, and that's a Google link. I hope it works out for you. I'm going to read the actual quote here. He's talking, this is John Smedley, CEO of Daybreak Games, and he says, look at H1Z1. Is it an MMO? Sure, by definition, but I would consider it a session-based online game with a lot of people. And I say that because the average life expectancy is H1Z1 might be 45 minutes, and that's what today's gamers want. Quote, what today's gamers want, 45 minutes. How many people do you know that are still raiding in WoW every night, or EverQuest or EverQuest 2? It's just the time commitment necessary has changed so much. That means we need to change with the times, and we are. So we're getting interested in a broader array of games and gaming styles. And I think that last sentence kind of clarifies a little bit more, or could clarify, that they're trying to broaden and capture more gamers. But yeah, that is the quote.
Shenanigans. I call shenanigans.
I will
Hoopla?
say. I will say that Smedley has access to more data than I do. He has more access to more data around a bunch of different games, right? He can see what the average session is in PlanetSide 2 and H1Z1 and EverQuest 2, and make those type of statements with more understanding of the data that's available. So when he speaks with more data. I speak more from anecdote, and my anecdote is that if I wanted to, I could raid 4 or 5 nights a week without any problem. Not only I wouldn't have problem finding people to raid with, I wouldn't have people finding the time to raid if I wanted. And and I don't know. What do you guys? When you're gaming right now, how long is your average session?
Depends on which game I'm playing.
I don't know, man.
Exactly. Depends on which game I'm playing.
I've had Civ sessions that lasted like 9 hours, 10 hours.
Right. Remember last fall, I sat down I sat down every Sunday morning before the show, and I played Civ 5 with my dad. That was 3.5 hours every Sunday morning.
Sure
no
was.
problem. And it, you know, I mean, I understand his point, but like I can come up with like a football game is 3 hours long, a movie is 2 hours long, Game of Thrones is an hour long. It's like people are willing to sit down and enjoy entertainment for that block of time. It's not like we're all out here ADD that we have to like bounce around to the next thing. And I don't want to be. I'll come back with a comment.
I mean, I'll say this: like, I know people that still raid 3 to 4 times a week on WoW. There are people that raid in EverQuest and EverQuest 2. I mean, I don't. I can understand the movement of them wanting to make games that are for a drop in and drop out, because I can get in, I can feel like I've accomplished something, and I can leave. I think with H1Z1, like, the average lifespan is 45 minutes. Not unless you got a group of friends together. Like, when we had everybody, we were surviving day to day. Like, we would play for 3 or 4 hours, and I had not died. None of us died. We would kill other people, but we didn't die. So it just depends on your playstyle and how you're doing in the game and stuff like that. But it just depends on you as a player. And he's also basing it off his company's, information. You can't say that, like, you can't go to Tryon because people could be raiding daily in Tryon for 6 hours a night. In Rift, you don't know that, and same for World of Warcraft, same for Final Fantasy. You're basing it off your company's games.
Well, also, we don't necessarily know that. He could be basing it off focus groups done with this type of MMO, or this type of MOBA, or this type of... no idea where he pulled his data from. It might not just be Daybreak Games.
The Sned Shed?
I have no love for Smedley. But I don't think he's meant to be a loved figure. So, and I don't mean it in a disrespectful sort of way. It has, I don't mean it in a bad sort of way.
No, I get it. Like, he's very much a... It is weird. Watching, like, old, like, Smed videos, like, on maybe, like, the creation of EverQuest and things like that, like, you see him, he was very much like a... He was one of the first people to come out and say, like, oh, we can create an online 3D world for gaming and create this because he's like, and if you, quoting him, I don't have time to go and meet my friends for a weekly or monthly D&D game, so let me change the future of gaming. So maybe he's right. Maybe it's the same thing. Like, maybe we've gotten to the point where we don't have the time to sit down and throw ourselves at a raid boss for 2 hours a night, 3 hours a night, or a wing of content and stuff like that. And I'm basing it off, like, but at the same time, you make time for that thing. Like, and I'm not speaking for myself. Like, I will make the time. It's just that if the game's fun and it holds me, I will be fucking there for as ever long as I need to be.
Exactly.
If it's fun, I will play. If it is not fun, I will not.
That's the exact point I was trying to make, is that if your game is fun, people will make time. That's your job. That is your job as a game development company, is to make the game fun enough for people to want to log in and play it and for however long it takes is how I'll frame it, because I don't know how long. Is it an hour? Is it 2 hours? And that's probably another conversation that we can add a little bit later. But when I had my tabletop gaming session, right? I'm a huge football fan. We talked about that at the beginning of the show. Want to know what night of the week my tabletop gaming session was on? Monday night. Which means that every Monday night I gave up watching football because the tabletop game with my friends was more fun. And that's this, you just have to frame it the same sort of way when it comes to games. Whatever is the more fun thing to do, people will go and do that. And if you're not the more fun thing, then yeah, you're going to have problems with people not wanting to stick into your game. And it seems like all of their, like, and this is not just Daybreak games, but in MMOs in general, it's like they don't know how to gate content so that like you can't just be hardcore and have everything done in the first hour. And they had to create these mechanics that make the game unfun, like rep grinds, daily quests, lockout timers, those type of mechanics. And yeah. I don't want to take the floor here, but I have more on that sort of issue that I see with the game.
No. We're good. I just, and I want to say, like, I've read a couple. I mean, I read the articles and I read the Reddit posts he made after, saying that EverQuest Next, just to qualm some worries. He did say, like, EverQuest Next is going to have like a mix. He's like he wants there to be content that you can do in EverQuest Next that's quick and fun. You can feel like you accomplished something, but they still want to have that 45-minute to an hour to 2 hour content in there as well. So I mean, if they could find a nice middle ground where, like, I can jump in, nobody's on, it's not a raid night, I have to go do something, but I kind of want to hop in and do something that's not grinding or raising a me mining or
I
playing
have a
the auction
question.
house. Yeah, go ahead.
What says that planning a game around a 45-minute login session is taking anything away from people who spend hours playing it? Doesn't that just mean that you can get more done because you're playing for multiple 45-minute sessions?
Depends.
It depends, because that's my complaint about the garrison, is that sure, you can log in and get everything done inside your garrison in 45 minutes, but once you've filled that 45-minute block of time, there's nothing else really for that character to do, unless you level another alt, or unless you engage in those type of activities that people that they like have an aversion to hardcore raiding, or even softcore raiding.
Light raids.
No, babe, no.
Why not? Why not have mini raids? Smaller group-based content, like primal
that's
fights in Final
dungeons.
Fantasy. No, not in Final Fantasy, because there's primal fights in Final Fantasy, and that's a smaller.
I don't know anything about Final Fantasy. I'm sorry.
That's cool. That's why I'm here.
My whole thing is, what does Daybreak plan to do about the fact that they have noticed that an average session lasts 45 minutes? What does a gamer need to do in that time to feel like it was a successful login session? What do you as a gamer want to accomplish when you log in? Can it be done in 45 minutes? And if you have more time than that, doesn't that just mean that you can do more of those things that make you feel successful?
Yes.
Yeah,
And I'm going to say yes, because
and
you're right.
I absolutely agree with you, and that the issue, the way I would spend more time in the world, and what I'm hoping to see in EverQuest Next, is that I don't if a typical session is like 45 minutes and I have more time available to me than just those 45 minutes, I want to be able to go out and interact with the world in a non-predictable way. Because if I give me an example. If I run through the Shire in Lord of the Rings, I don't know if that's actually a zone but if I go to Dalaran, if I go to the Shire in Lord of the Rings, if I go to the central city in Rift, it's always the same, and therefore it's boring because it's predictable. There's nothing exciting that's happening there. There's no, I've seen everything there is to do there, and there's not a whole lot of interesting stuff to do. So all of a sudden that whole area is no longer worth exploring, worth going to. And if EverQuest Next can deliver that living, evolving world that is suffering the consequences of all of the actions of all of the players, cumulatively changing the world, then every time you go to those central Kinos, Freeport, every time you go to those cities, they might be different, slightly different or hugely different. That's huge. I would love to be in that type of world, because then, when somebody else is done with their 45-minute session and I have more time, I'm still able to see the world and impact the world in those tiny little one-player fragments.
And as a life of consequence in EverQuest Next, if you only have 45 minutes to play, what do you choose to do? Because you can't do everything. You can't go to every single hub and see what's different. You know what I mean? You have to choose what you feel is most important, and that is going to lead more to a life of consequence. You have to pick what's most important to you. You have to pick what you're going to do. I'm just hoping that in a 45-minute session, say I only have 45 minutes to log in, I want to make progress on a rally. I want to feel like I've made progress on a rallying call, because making progress on a rallying call and feeling like you've made progress on a rallying call are two different things. But I would hope that you would be able to make progress on a rallying call and support the side that you're looking for, and while you're doing that, be able to, as an aside, harvest resources that will help you crafting, as well as being able to interact with a few players during your journey. That's what I hope to be able to accomplish. That would make me feel successful as a player. If I only had this much time to log in, I would want to do those things.
My other comment when it comes to like game sessions like Star Wars and the Old Republic, I think that was one of the quickest things that made me want to turn off that game, was because even if I had more than just the 45 minutes or the hour when I was playing that game, it felt like everything was so confined and so controlled, that they, and Kyla can back me up on this one. There was one quest where you had your different voice quest objects, like you could finish the quest in 3 different ways, but it didn't. The outcome on the world didn't matter at all, no matter what you chose. Like it would have the same outcome in the end, something like that.
Cough, cough. Guild Wars 2 story, cough.
Yeah.
Guild Wars 2.
Yep.
You're right, absolutely. And so, like, that is when, like, if you're trying to make a game, she's not saying anything. She's just typing. I wonder if she's still mad at me. I'm sorry. I take it back. I wouldn't really flip off the baby. I just give her a dirty look.
And someone tell Canlin he's an asshole.
Tanlin, your wife loves you very much.
So,
I'm a bad middle person. I always try to fix it. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
So, but you're right. Like, I think that even if I only have like, or even if I have more time than just like that minimum session time, that I start turning off games when it feels like I'm shown the rails, and no matter what I choose to do while I'm going down the train tracks, I'm never off the tracks. I'm never going anywhere other than where the story is directing me. And that was, I mean, Guild Wars 2, I was able to level without, I didn't do the personal story at all. I just ran around doing world versus world for the longest time. But I know that when I was playing Star Wars: The Old Republic, that was one of my frustrations with the game, is that it, like, nothing I'm doing has mattered. Why can't I just press a button like 50 million times and be max level? Because that's what the game feels like.
Oh, it happens.
Yeah.
It's I can't. I mean, isn't that the hopes we have for this game? Is that our choices matter? That things we choose affect the world, and how we play would change. Even though you don't have to create a new character, but based on my choices, I can hop on a different server. It should be totally different from the server that I'm totally on. And based on the community choices, and if they did certain things that we didn't do on ours, and that interests me. And if they can pull that off, awesome. Can we pull it off?
That's another thing that I'm really hoping that they can pull off. Like, if you know that your player base has an average of, because I'm not going to say that, because sometimes I do only have 45 minutes between something that I'm doing and something else that I'm doing. Sure. Sometimes, because I will squeeze in gaming every minute that I can get. But I'm also one of those players who will sit there on a day when I have off and literally not get out of my pajamas and just game all day. But I want to know what they're.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I don't put on real pants on Sunday. I understand. It's business from the waist up, but I'm telling you, I'm still in loungy yoga pants.
I am wearing real pants. I don't know. Pants. Okay. Pants. Sorry, tangent.
One of the other
I want to know what they're going to do with that 45 minutes. Like, right, make me feel successful logging in. Make me feel like I've done something.
And to kick it back to what we were talking about a little bit earlier, when we're talking about that 45-minute session, right? Now, when we were talking about, like, defining the session, did we mean from the moment you log in to the moment you log out, or the moment that you begin trying to accomplish a major objective for your character for that, time period, and when you finish that period, right? So what I notice about me when I'm playing is I do actually break my gameplay into sessions that are more like that than logging in and logging out, unless you count logging into different characters. But I don't feel like I'm going to be doing that in EverQuest Next. I'm going to have one character. But I feel like in my gaming sessions right now, I'll log in for 45 minutes and I'll get stuff done. And then I'll go into a less strenuous type of gameplay where like maybe I'm chatting with people or maybe I'm getting up to grab a drink or grabbing a little bit to eat and I'm not logged out of the game, but I'm still engaging just as much with other stuff around the house than I am with the game itself. And then after I wind that down, then I get into a more intense game session. And that's what I was noticing this morning while I was thinking about it, what I was doing. I logged on to one character and I really went at it for a little while, and then I like went and did a whole bunch of other stuff and then came back into the game. So what we talked about, and then we brought up the dailies and the gear, the rep grinds and the lockout timers and stuff like that, which make it so that once you're done with your 45-minute time block, you're done. You have to log into a different character because that character has maxed out what he can do for the day. Do you think that they're gonna do you think that when they're designing the game in EverQuest Next that they're considering that these are the major things that we think that you can accomplish in 45 minutes, and we're not telling you what you have to do because you can do this, you can do this, you can do this, but it needs to be done in 45 minutes, and then we're going to lock it out so you don't just do the same thing over and over again.
I hope that they design the game in mind, rather with people in mind who do break up their gaming sessions into different sort of categories, because as a guild leader, I will tell you sometimes I have to log in just to deal with guild leader stuff. Like, make sure you send a mail to this person, make sure you send a mail to that person, update the guild message of the day, like this, that, and the other. You have to promote this person, demote that person, that sort of thing. You have to do clerical things as a guild leader. So I'm hoping that they understand that some people are going to play more, and there should be content for people who want to play more, which I think he addressed a little bit, saying that he understands that there are still gamers out there who do that. Granted, he did say that it was in EQ and EQ2, but they have said that there's going to be raids in EverQuest Next. I'm pretty sure. Please, chat, you will tell me in chat that I'm wrong if they didn't say that, but I'm pretty sure that they said there's going to be raids. So I will absolutely count on there being hours worth of content there. Continuous hours worth of content there.
And 45-minute content could be anything. It could be could be a dungeon. It could be questing. It could be the world content. It could be their community quest system, which I forgot the name of again because we haven't talked about it in a while. Rallying calls. Yeah, there's the rallying calls. I mean, any of that stuff can easily be 45-minute content. That easily can be drop in, drop out. You go do something, help the big. Let me go do the rallying call today. Let me go see what that's about and help out everyone doing that, or help.
Not that the rallying call takes 45 minutes, but that you can help. Okay.
For 45, yeah, that you can go in and do and feel accomplished. I helped.
Exactly, and that's what I was saying. Even if you're logging in to help contributing to the rallying call, that you should have a sense of accomplishment with that 45 minutes in a hey, we helped repel this assault and it took half an hour, or we attacked this stronghold and we won and it took that same 45-minute block of time. And that's where I'm hoping, I was talking about, them designing the game around, hey, if this is what they're logging in to do, then we need to make sure that they can get that sense of accomplishment in that period of time. And I think that somebody posted in chat about how they had to make it successful. I think that even if you're not successful in that 45-minute, but at least you felt like you fought the good fight. It was okay that you were defeated or that you lost or you didn't accomplish it, but you were there and you participated and you still had that type of involvement with the game.
And that you didn't lose because you only had 45 minutes.
Exactly.
It was because you just couldn't complete the objective, or you just couldn't get the resources in time, or that's fine. I'm fine. A sense of accomplishment doesn't have to be winning. It has to with a life of consequence, it has to feel okay, there was an impact here.
Mm-hmm. then my other thoughts, and I only know like hardcore raiding in Warcraft, and a little bit in Vanguard. And in Vanguard, there was raiding, but it was how do I phrase this? Because it wasn't like Warcraft. Warcraft created its own monster, in that the method of them delivering the story for 2 expansions, which is Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King, they delivered the story to you in the raid, and then they made you an expendable component of that raid, because if you didn't have the right gear, if you weren't putting out the right damage, if you couldn't heal enough, if you didn't have this item or this gear score, then people wouldn't take you on the raids, and so you were completely locked out of that content. And they did that, so that now people in Warcraft have that, I don't really raid. I don't want to get involved with it. It sounds like a lot of headache, and that's where Warcraft created their own monster, but they put their story behind that monster wall. And I think that that's one of the things that Daybreak really needs to take into account when they're creating their gameplay, is that they need to make sure that if those 45-minute sessions, I'm fine with it, as long as they're not making it so that like people can't see the story, the narrative, unless they put in more time than that. And so if they're going to make you have to raid, make it so that you can defeat a boss in 45 minutes and you don't have to like come back next week and kill that same boss again. Because that's where people start like, this isn't really for me. I'm doing the same thing week after week, or we're wiping on the same boss week after week, that type of stuff. But they still want to be able to see the how Norath evolves, or just don't put the story behind raids and make raids the optional.
I absolutely agree, because I have never been a part of a big enough guild. It's always been more about being a part of a community for me, or a family, if you will, than being part of a raid big enough to a guild big enough to raid. So don't make me join up with a guild that big. Don't make me raid in order to learn about the world, or to even get the best gear. Give me another option. Like, if it's stupidly hard to craft, like if I have to work for a month to craft it, to get all the materials to craft it, I don't care. I will do that. Don't make me raid for the best gear. Don't make it feel like raiders are the most hardcore. Raiders always win the game because they have the best stuff. Please, 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 please.
So, it just logged me out of Twitch, so I can't send the message. And Dorcas just said that if you cared about the story in WoW, whether you were out of luck and not geared, you could always find stuff to do not raiding. And this is me kind of summarizing what I remember him saying, because like I just said, it logged me out. I think that Warcraft took another step in kind of defeating the monster that they created for the first 2 expansions, and that's Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King, in that the story content was behind the raid wall, and if you didn't see the raid, you didn't see the content. And in Cataclysm, they introduced the very progressive questing system in the Firelands, where they had different daily quests that you could do, and it was about 45 minutes a day over the course of the month, and at the end of that huge quest chain, which got rather repetition at the end, but you got achievements, and you got gear, and you got titles, all of the stuff that normally was over in the raiding realm. Normally, only the raiders got the mounts and the titles and etc. And you also got to see part of a different story if you just did the questing daily type stuff. They continued that on in Mists of Pandaria when they added in the legendary quest, which was even incorporating both of them in together, where you had to both quest on a regular basis and raid on a regular basis to see the entire story from a different point of view, which was not just killing Garrosh, but it was actually the Black Prince. So yeah, I think that in MMOs in general, there are ways to make it so that you can raid and see the story. Well, because this is EverQuest Next, I don't want to say that you're going to see the story. It's more about seeing the world evolve, if that makes sense, you guys.
It is.
that you can see the world evolve just by running out and doing like helping out a town in helping or raiding on raid bosses or engaging in large guild type events. That you should be able to see and participate in the evolution of Nora in no matter what you do.
And I think that's the key word, is participate. Like, make sure that any length of time that you're participating in the game, you feel like you're there. You feel like you're connected to the world. You feel like you're doing something, that you're making a difference. I think that's perfectly the key word, is participate.
Yeah. To talk with about what Dork said, I agree with him. Like, there was always stuff to do in WoW if you weren't raiding. It did suck though, because if you are a story person, you missed out. You did just miss out, and then the new content would drop, or the new expansion would come out, and you're just like, okay, I guess I can go click on that statue and see that cool video that happened after you killed them. Oh, look, we won! Everybody, did you know we won? We won! We killed the boss! We did it, guys! It took me a year and a half to find out, but we did it. It's fine. It sucks that it has to
Or
be that
you
way.
had to go onto a third-party site like YouTube or any of
Twitch
the
or
WoW things to see the videos that people had recorded, and yeah.
It sucks. It's not a fun way to do things. Like, you want people to... I mean, Warcraft has opened it up a little bit, but...
A lot, and
Yeah.
I don't want to make this the WoW podcast, but I think that because I talk about people that play WoW on a regular basis, and they are talking about like the LFR tool really opened it up, because if you just wanted to see the story once, you could do it, and you could go through the raid and fight the boss and see it, and they would go through the animation. And I didn't know about this until like last year, but like on different, like if you went and you killed the boss on heroic difficulty, there was a different cutscene ending. It didn't change the story at all, but it was like an extra level, an extra layer of story that was presented. And I was like, oh, that's cool. It wasn't a cutscene. It was an animation or a dialogue during the raid that happened.
That's another thing. If Daybreak Games is listening for EverQuest Next, please don't give me any cutscenes. I hate them. I will sit through them because I want the story, but I hate them.
Like
They're
Tamlin.
awful.
Well, it depends.
They're awful.
There's the balance. You have to hit a balance. Overdoing cutscenes, hate it. Every once in a while, if you like on a major accomplishment, a major milestone, if they really want to hammer home that dramatic impact, sure.
I'm okay with it, yeah.
But it better be like... maybe,
It better blow my damn mind every time.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, I will agree with that. Because cough, cough, Guild Wars 2, cough. Some games use the cutscene way too much.
Star Wars: The Old Republic, I felt was the same way.
Yes! Oh my god, yes! I think I only played until level 9. But, like, doing that stupid story so that you can get out of the starting zone, I'm like, I cannot listen to my character talk one more fucking time. I'm sorry. I can't. I'm over it. I don't care what she sounds like. Just get me out of this.
You cut out at exactly the right moment, and it sounded like I edited you.
No. I actually, sometimes I do that on purpose, where I pull my swears. I don't say them completely. So, I'm sorry for that. Next time I will say fucking, and I will just say it.
Yeah, it was just like, fuck!
And I was like, wow, that was coincidental.
Oh.
But I can edit myself. It comes from being in a family friendly guild where if you're on Mumble you have to be like, nope, I didn't say that.
I said fudge cookies. Fudge cookies.
Also,
Man, I really want cookies.
working in a I'm not sure if you guys know this, but I'm going to share a little tidbit about Lucy here. I work in a cafe, and when you accidentally burn the shit out of yourself in front of customers, you're like, oh, that hurt.
Oh, biscuits! That was a boo-boo.
90 degrees on my naked flesh. It's fine.
Oh.
But I've adopted a thing
Here's
that's
your
sugar
eggs.
honey iced tea, which actually is just an acronym for shit. We say that a lot. We're like, oh,
Yeah, sugar.
honey iced tea.
And you can walk around the table. Here's your eggs. Ow.
My mother
It's actually soup, which is like molten lava.
Oh
in your
god,
flesh.
it's even worse. So much worse. It's just...
My mother always says, "Son of a biscuit eater."
Classic.
Very.
There are a lot of interesting things that you learn when you work in food service. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Oh no! I know. When I was in college, one of the two, both of the jobs I had while I was in college, one was working at our university coffee shop, and the other was working the flat top grill at the grill inside our university, like the central. It wasn't like the actual cafeteria. It wasn't the food hall. It was just like
a little side restaurant.
Building. Yeah, so we had like this one big building at Western, and inside like was the bookstore and like places for everybody to hang out. And downstairs was the computer lab, and they had like a gym in there and stuff. And there was like a little, essentially convenience store, and then there was like the deli, and then there was the salad bar place, and then there was the grill. And
was it a salad bar that didn't actually serve salad, but there was salad there, but nobody ever ordered it?
Oh no! The salad bar was always really busy. We were refilling that salad bar constantly, and it was not a like serve yourself salad bar. It was a like you go up to the counter and they made cold sandwiches and salads, and you had to order it, and they made it for you. And because all of those restaurants were in the same building, like the people downstairs in the big kitchens refilled all three of the places, the cafeteria, yes, flat top grills. I know exactly what you're talking about.
What are we talking about?
Shit. And gaming, and he was gonna ask me something.
We'd gone a little while, and you hadn't really participated other than saying like what I do. And look what you had. I know that you played Star Wars. You've played more Star Wars: The Old Republic than I have. What were you feeling about the cutscenes and their method of?
I hated that game. That game was dreadful. If I wanted to play Knights of the Old Republic or Knights of the Old Republic 2, I would have played those games. I owned both of those games. If I wanted to play Coder, I would have logged in and played Coder. I wouldn't have paid a freaking subscription to play an MMO Coder, because it really wasn't very MMO feeling. Sure, it was definitely an MMO. It didn't feel like an MMO. Those stupid cutscenes were stupid.
So what about?
But I did really enjoy getting to swing around a lightsaber, and I got to swing a lightsaber of a not unusual color that was purple. It wasn't purple. I got to have a yellow lightsaber. That made me very happy. I liked my yellow lightsaber. I had an orange lightsaber too. I liked my lightsabers.
I will say this, Sealand Trading Company, the guild that I belong to, actually has an extremely active RP presence on Star Wars: The Old Republic. I believe they're on Zhongma server? Is that how you say it?
Zhongma, yeah. That's the server I'm on, but I don't play because I just couldn't. I got to like level 7, I was just like, I can't do this!
Oh god,
I know that a lot of people really enjoy the game. I don't.
Oh yeah, that's exactly how I feel. Like, I was playing because my best friend was playing, and it's a thing that we do. Like, we try to play a video game together for at least a little while at least once a week. And for a long time, it was World of Warcraft. And then he took a break from World of Warcraft, and he didn't want to play that anymore. And so we moved to different games, and we played several together. And that's how I started playing Minecraft. Minecraft is not a 45-minute game for me. Minecraft is an all-consuming, I wake up, I make a pot of coffee. The pot of coffee is gone. 3 hours later, I make another pot of coffee. Oh god, I ran out of bricks. Okay, so I'm going to throw all the stones in my furnace with all the charcoal, and I'm going to go get another pot of coffee started, and I'm going to come back and continue. But, like, I'll play that game all fucking day. It is not a 45-minute session.
And that, like, when you were talking about, like, refilling the pot of coffee and all of that, do you find that you still segment your gameplay session into, like, a normal interval? Like you're hard into the game for like 45 minutes and then you
No.
No, you're hard into it for all day long?
So guys, on Sundays, do you know what he likes to do? He likes to log into his video game, he'll play for a little bit, and then he'll go, oh, I need to go be an adult. And he'll leave his computer with his game playing, and like he'll go do adult things like clean up the kitchen a little bit, start a little laundry, take out the trash, and then he'll go back and he'll play for a little while longer. I only leave my computer because if he's working, I feel like I need to. If he's cleaning, I feel like I need to. Not because I want to.
Oh no! In Final Fantasy, there's an option to leave your character logged in. So I'll leave it like logged in the city, and I will go like if I'm cleaning my bedroom or making my bed and stuff or doing laundry, I'll just sit there and leave it logged in, and I'll be like fold laundry, and I'll come over for a minute, be like, what's going on? What's doing? Maybe I should click something. Like go see if somebody's selling something on the auction house or whatever. Come back and just keep folding, doing stuff. I'll do that.
I need to turn on that light. I'm horribly backlit. I'm all blackened. Yeah, so the other thing that I wanted to bring up when it talks about like a gameplay session, when you're playing, do you have anything else playing at the same time? Like, do you watch a show? Do you listen to music? Do you anything going on around you while you're playing, or are you totally vested in the game that you're currently playing?
Depends on the game I'm playing and what I'm trying to do. If I'm working garrisons in World of Warcraft, then yeah, I can have other crap on. If I'm doing dungeons or raids, no, because then the show or whatever will distract me. And if I'm in Minecraft, no, because it will really distract me, and then I won't get my building done, and I like to build, so no.
I'm the same way. I if I'm playing a game, I concentrate on the game I'm playing. If it depends what it is. If it's like I'm doing something like small, like leveling fishing, or or doing something where I'm like it's kind of like mind numbing. I don't really have to pay too much attention to it. I'll throw on music or something like that. If I'm playing Hearthstone, I may do like Netflix off to the side because I have my TV right here. Because that's all.
Because
like,
you have to wait for 20, 30 seconds for the other person to go through their moves after they're done. You're like, come on, come on.
like
and it makes for Hearthstone, it makes it so much easier for me if I'm just watching something on my other screen, and they're like, oh, they finished their turn. It's my turn.
Or they
again.
don't go. Yeah, they make all their moves and they forget to hit the button, and you're just sitting there like, I can't yell at you. Like you're clicking all the animations on your character, like go, and then you run out. And you're just, what's Daredevil doing?
right. So
my answer is across the board, no. Whatever I'm doing, I'm completely invested in. I don't have music on. I don't have streams going. If I'm watching a YouTube video, that's what I'm doing. If I'm playing a game, that's what I'm doing. If I'm reading, that's what I'm doing. So I guess I'm in the minority. I don't multitask while I game.
Yeah, it depends on my mindset or what I'm doing. I tend not to, like, if I'm raiding, I tend not to multitask. But given the amount of time per week I game, I fit in a lot of different stuff at the same time.
I don't know, like fishing and
So
Final
fucking
Fantasies. If it was WoW fishing, yeah, I'd definitely be like listening to music. Like that is so mind-numbingly boring. Like you need something else to do because you can't sit there and be like, well, this is fun, woo! Like no, like at least in Final Fantasy fish. Oh no, I did. Trust me, I did it, and I was like, I need something else. Like my eyes started twitching. I'm like, I need to do something else.
Nope,
So
I was all in. I'm like, I'm gonna click the button, gonna click it. Now it's time to click it.
yeah, I would play music. I'd fall asleep while fishing. Like I'd fall asleep in my computer chair while fishing.
Yeah, now, in the Sewers of Dollarod, yes, there was a time where my forehead hit my desk, and I did fall asleep while I was fishing, but I got my rat.
Yeah.
I still don't have my rat.
Still?
Yeah, but I'm one of those people. I do not like doing things that rewards you randomly.
Oh,
Even
yeah,
if it,
because the RNG gods are not with us.
yeah. I am not. Yeah, I am not a worshiper. I don't pray to the RNG odds to give me any sort of loot or any sort of title or any sort of achievement. If I can't earn it, like even if it's over repetition, I'd rather do that. Because then I have measurement. I'm this much closer.
I don't know.
Right? That's kind of...
I just can't. I can't do it.
See, and Octo 73 brings up if there's people to talk to in the game, then there's no need to multitask. Headset usage. How many of us use our headsets when we are gaming, and how many people have people around us in the same space while we're gaming?
Headset 24/7 because that's my speaker system. 7.1 surround sound. So that's my speaker system. As for people around when I'm gaming, all alone here. Ladies, hit me up at Flatus. Been a minute. That never works.
Take a drink. That was so
That never works. Yeah, that's what, if anything,
It
I'm
never
just.
works. I totally told him he could be my second husband.
Two husbands.
So that's where like I've talked to other people about this before when it comes to like wearing the virtual reality headsets, and people are like, that's going to be the next breakthrough in gaming, is that I'm going to be able to throw on this headset and totally be teleported to another realm that takes over all of my senses. And my comment to that is like, oh, we lost her. I can't game like that because I have other things going on around me that I need to be aware of that are happening. 2 dogs, 2 cats, a teenager, a wife, and I try to make it a point of being like, hey, this is my game session time. I am going to be spending X amount of time, and I'm going to be vested into the game, and so I'm not going to say that it's more important than you, but if you would give me a consideration to understand that this is what I'm doing at this point in time, I'd appreciate it. And then when I'm not in my game, like this is what I'm doing right now and I can't be distracted, or I wish not to be distracted, I can't be on headset because like I need to be able to step away and, log out really quick and step away and take care of one thing or the other. So I don't feel like this is where the antisocial, or not even antisocial, but lack of social Tamlin really starts to show up. I rarely talk to people in my guild when I'm casually playing around.
I am, if you can't tell, an extremely social person. I really like to talk to people. I like to meet new people. I might be a little nervous in the very beginning, but I don't have a problem walking up to an absolute stranger and talking to them whatsoever. I don't play well with others in video games. I don't talk to my guild. I don't ask them if they want to go do a dungeon with me. I don't ask them if they want to join me for LFR. I don't know. I don't give a fuck. It's not the way I game. The only thing I do with other people is the things that I don't have a choice with. Like I raid with other people, but that's just because I can't raid by myself. One does not a raid make.
Yeah.
You lose me too, and Flatus?
Oh, man. I mean,
I'm looking at the stream.
Oh, hey.
Hi!
Hi, can we see about adding Lucy back to the video call? My play session, definitely more antisocial, but I will have to say that back when I was doing the open world role playing with a bunch of different people from different guilds, I was very much a more social person with my playtime.
I love that three of the hosts have pictures up on stream.
Well, it's because when I only had two of the other hosts up, it was you're half your.
It was wonky. It's wonky.
Yeah.
I like to point out that my picture is also very cool.
So final thoughts. Get them in now so that we can we figure out what we're doing here on the show.
Yeah, I'm calling Lucy, but it's not happening.
I don't have final thoughts.
You know, any thought not on the time or anything?
I'm here, so you guys, I can hear you guys and I can comment, but I just can't see you guys. I'm sorry.
That's fine. I have it set up so that's all you need to do right at the very moment. The final thoughts from me is that I disagree that people don't have the time to put into rating in whatever game that they're playing. You just have to make it compelling for them to want to do it. You have to make it compelling for them to want to work with other people to accomplish those game goals. It's not that people won't do it. That just the quality of MMOs right now is at such a low point right now that people don't want to. They will go find other more fun things to do in that time space. If you do create a 45-minute session time and you want to develop around that, I think that is great, and I think that you can still make a very successful game with those type of time frame, 45 minutes to an hour time strain, and I think that would still make a very compelling game for EverQuest Next in Norath, as long as we get to see the Norath evolve and change, because otherwise it's gonna get really stale really quick, no matter how great the game is. That's my final thoughts. I'll turn it over to whoever wants to go next.
Me? Lucy? You want to go?
I can go. I can't see you guys, so my final thoughts are that I think that a 45-minute play session can be perfectly viable as long as you don't penalize people for playing for longer, which I can't see happening. If you make a player feel successful within 45 minutes, there's no way that you can feel unsuccessful with 3 hours. I just hope that life of consequence is added into that. So you have to pick and choose where you spend your time, and that matters. And I think that they're going to do that anyway. So I'm excited, actually, for this revelation from Smedley, I guess you could say.
Right, Kailas?
I agree with her. If you don't penalize the people that play longer than 45 minutes, then I really don't see a problem with it. But don't make the people that play for 45 minutes only more important than the people that play for 4 to 5 hours, and vice versa.
And Flatus, what are your final thoughts?
My final thought would be make sure that all the content is engaging. Between if it's 30-minute content, 10-minute content, 45-minute content, and hour-long content or 6-hour content. So make sure it's all engaging. Make sure that it's fun. Make sure that you want people logging in and doing it, that they don't get bored and they want to try. And make it flavorful. Make things that people want to go and try. Don't make people feel like they can't raid because they may not be good enough. Or they don't have the gear. Make it so that people can craft the gear and get into raiding, not that they have to run dungeons and stuff like that. Or make the people that don't want to craft, if they want to run dungeons, make sure that the gear is in there. Make the things flow together. Make sure that people can rely on crafters and everything like that. And then it'll just be a fun game regardless, and people log in no matter what fucking amount of time they want to play. They'll be like, man, you know what? I only have 45 minutes, but I'm gonna use that to do this. Or, I got a 6-hour block of time today, I'm not working, it's a Saturday, I'm just gonna kill 6 hours of time to do all this stuff. If it's engaging and fun and you put forth a good game, it doesn't matter, if you have time limits in mind. People are gonna play for however long they have the time to play. And as long as you make it fun, people will stay in your game. If you don't make it fun, then you're going to have issues. No one's going to play your game, and it doesn't matter how long your game sessions are.
Okay, that'll do it for EverCast this week. Again, a reminder to follow us on Twitch, subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter. We have our own subreddit now. Feel free to post any questions there. I'm pretty often engaged in Reddit.
Me too.
If you're listening to us on Stitcher, give us a thumbs up. If you're giving us, or if you're listening to us on iTunes, give us a review. All of it is really, really appreciated by us. That's it. Who wants to camp us out? Me again?
Yeah, they can't see us. So.
Why? All right. Well, thank you again. Camping out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good night. I'll see you next week.